Hi friends, I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm Sarah Millerhouse and I am sharing a layout I made using this mood board. So I am starting by making the fans or little pinwheels that you saw on the mood board, and I am mimicking the colors that were there. So there was like a aqua turquoisey color and then pinks. So I am going to be making those. Here what I'm doing is I am just going and scoring my lines so that I can fold them easily, and I scored those at 1/4 of an inch. So they're pretty small, and that's how, so you kind of get the general look there. And then I skipped ahead. So here I used the nesting heart dies from this month to cut some hearts. There were also a bunch of hearts on that mood board. And so I'm going to be using those hearts kind of as the foundation. And then there's my little pinwheels that I finished off camera. So once I had folded those and scored them and folded them, then I just adhered to the ends and laid them flat to dry. So that was how I did those. They're pretty easy. So here I am using the inks from this month to just add a touch of color behind where I am going to have all of my main elements on the layout. So these hearts I'm going to be sewing down, but I wanted just a little bit of pink poking out. They are a light pattern and I didn't want them to get lost on the white background. So here I'm adding a little bit of pink ink. That is the Catherine Puller inks from this month. And they act much like distress oxides if you've ever used those. So they're very water reactive. They're beautiful, beautiful colors. I love working with these inks. So here I just dabbed a little bit on my craft mat and dipped my brush in water, and then sprinkled some more color around. And then here I'm also using, this is Naughty or Nice from the December color kit. So I needed just a touch more, I kind of wanted a little bit more poking out. So most of the color that you see is the pink ink, but I wanted a little bit more dimension or variation in color kind of poking out behind there. So I do go and add just a touch. Most of it is covered up by the hearts, as you can see. Sprinkled a little bit around. Then I'm going to also use the green from last month's color kit, so from the February color kit. Sorry, nope, that's from the January color kit. So everything else that I'm using is from the February kits, but the green is from the January color kit. Sorry about that. So I'm just adding a touch in the middle. This is a Shimmers. It's a Creamies. It's absolutely beautiful and got lots of shine and shimmer. So it looks very bold here when I put it on, but I'm going to be dabbing almost all of it up. So, because I just wanted a touch, there you go, you can see. I just wanted a touch of color back there behind where all of my elements were going to go on my page. So now I'm ready. I don't have to really wait for it to dry because I used the paper towel to dab up most of the liquid medium. So that was pretty easy to get ready. Here, what I'm doing is I'm taking these hearts that I cut using the nesting dies, and you'll notice I did skip a size. So I did the biggest heart and then, or the next to biggest heart, and then I skipped a size, did the next one down, skipped a size, did the next one down. So there is a lot of space in between those hearts, but if you want them to be a lot tighter layers of color, then you don't have to skip the hearts in between. So here what I did is I just added a little bit of adhesive straight down the center of the hearts and adhered them together. And then I just did a tiny bit of adhesive down the center of the back and glued that down to the page. So I did just enough adhesive to make it stick because I'm going to be adding this hand stitching. So I added the holes straight down with my X-Acto knife. I just went straight down the center of those hearts. And then now I am adding a straight stitch up and down those hearts. And then here what you see me doing is I went down for each of the holes where I added the straight stitch, I went back and added a knot stitch. So everywhere where my needle went in and out, I went and added a French knot stitch, and that is just where I pull up the thread. You push up the needle from the back here, and then you see me wrapping the thread around that needle 3 times and poking it straight back down in the same hole, and it adds that little knot. There are lots of videos on how exactly to do that knot stitch, but it's pretty simple. Needle up through the back, wrap your thread around that needle 3 times, poke the needle back through, and it leaves you with the cutest little knot. So I did that straight down the center of those hearts just for a little bit of added detailing. And now I'm going to be working on my photo. So I did use one of the pieces of pink patterned paper from the main kit that I had cut the hearts out of. So I just saved that little scrap and it was the perfect size to map my photo there. So now I'm going to be putting everything back on and making sure I like the placement of everything here. So I wanted everything to be really tight to the center and very layered looking. So I kind of got it where I wanted it, and then added my adhesive. And I do add dry adhesive and then also wet adhesive just to help hold everything down in place permanently. So the dry adhesive helps hold it down right now, and then that wet adhesive helps keep it there forever and ever. So I did both because those elements do stick off the page pretty high. I wanted to make sure that I had them good and adhered down. And then I do end up gluing down half of that heart there, that heart stack there, just so the places where everything is overlapping, that it didn't move around on me. The rest of the hearts I did leave with no adhesive so that they could fold up and bend up around the thread. Okay, so here I'm adding craft foam to the center behind my photo. And I did end up adding 2 layers of craft foam because my fans or pinwheels, whatever you want to call them, because they're 1/4 of an inch high. Like I scored my lines 1/4 of an inch, so when you fold them, that makes them 1/4 of an inch high. I needed some pretty thick adhesive to make sure my photo was even. So I wanted my photo to be very flat. I didn't want any ripples or different levels behind my photo. So I worked to make sure my craft foam was exactly even with those fans. And then here, this fabulous True Love acrylic piece came in the kits this month. And so I adhered that down. I did, if you were watching, I did add a couple of glue dots to the back just because those are immediately sticky. And then I did add also some wet adhesive to make sure it was good and stuck down. And then here, these foam or puffy heart stickers are from the embellishment kit, the February embellishment kit, and it is fabulous. That sheet of hearts is just fabulous. The colors are fantastic, all different sizes of hearts. I will be able to use that on tons and tons of layouts. So I love how many stickers you get on that sheet. And then I'm also adding a couple of pieces of ephemera. I think this ephemera is from the main kit. And then this butterfly, there were also butterflies on the mood board, so which I loved. So I took this butterfly and I'm just trimming off the white. So there was a little bit of a white edge. If you watch my videos, you know I usually always trim off white edges off of any ephemera. A lot of people love white edges on their ephemera. I just don't. So I trimmed that off really quickly, and then I'm adding some of that ink, some of the same ink that I used on the background, just to ink the edges of it a little bit. It was very light. It was a yellow and white with a beautiful pattern, but it was very light in color, so I wanted to make sure that you could see where the edges ended on the layout. So adding ink helped with that. So off camera, I did add some little sparkly bits and some little sequins, and then now I'm going back and using the Nuvo drops from, I think those were from the November color kit, and I am adding those to the layout and finishing that up. So it was a pretty simple, here's some close-ups, pretty simple layout. The February kits are full of exclusives, exclusive stickers and patterned papers and all kinds of wonderful goodness. I did add off camera, you'll see here on this still photo, I did add one little stamped. I used the stamps in the kits this month and added a little phrase on top of the photo right there. So very thankful, my everything. I hope you enjoyed watching the video and are inspired in some way. Tap the bell for notifications, and I have links to the kits below. And I hope you have a beautiful and creative day. Bye, guys.